And it's interesting now looking back again, I'm like, dang girl, how did you do that? Like you're shooting these shows. I'm simultaneously sharing my life, on Instagram and with the world. And you just do it, right? Like us women, us moms, we just do it.
Hello, and welcome to the Twin Mom Life Podcast. I'm your host, Jess. I created this podcast to help build community, connection, and most importantly, friendships among moms of multiples. Being a twin mom can be amazing and magical. That twin bond is unlike anything I've ever witnessed. But it can also be isolating and overwhelming. I'll be chatting with other twin moms, diving deep into the twin experience, giving advice on what works for us so you don't have to learn the hard way. Juggling two babies at the same time is challenging, but I'm confident we can learn from each other and figure out how to raise these babies together. Welcome to the podcast. So today we have Jamie. Otis, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm so excited to have you on. I was saying this earlier. This is a little bit of like a pinch me moment. Your story and all the things that you have shared has really like changed the trajectory of how I've looked at things that have happened in my life. So like your losses and other medical things. And I'm just so thankful for you being so vulnerable. And I just can't wait to dive in and chat. You are a TV personality, a successful businesswoman, a mama of four, including twins. What am I missing? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I think thank you so much for such a nice introduction. I think you nailed it. I mean, I think that most people probably know me from Married at First Sight, but I was also on The Bachelor before that. Did you know that?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, you're a true girlfriend then. I call all my followers like I'm like, I don't have followers, but I have friends and
I'm
they're
an
my
OG.
girlfriends. So you really are. That's amazing. I love chatting with you then.
Yes. Okay. So, can you tell us about your family and your twins and like ages and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I met and married my husband in, oh my gosh, I have such bad brain fog, but it was March 23rd, 2014. And I'm like literally thinking that as I say it. I'm like, it was March 23rd, 2014. Yes. And so we got married on the show called Married at First Sight. And
Mhm.
it wasn't, if anyone saw it, wasn't love at first sight. I think there's like a huge misconception that it was just like, oh, you're immediately in love. And I think that's maybe why people, I think, relate to me as well is that I was like, I had already been on The Bachelor. And so I was like, oh no, I thought this was a different type of TV show. I didn't think that, like, I thought this was real and I'm not going to pretend to be in love when I'm not. And so, because they are like, you can kiss the bride. And of course, that's like normal, but I'm like, I'm not kissing him. I literally met him 2 seconds ago. Like, we're
That's like
not
a
like,
normal reaction.
yeah, but then I got, like, so much hate that I wasn't immediately like it's almost like if I was rejecting him. I'm like, "I'm not trying to reject him. I don't know him." And then there was, like, the photo shoot that came right after, and they're like, "Oh, get close, like, sit with him." And I'm like, "This is really weird. I just met him. Like, this is very strange." And they're like I felt like they were trying to make it seem like we were this happily married couple, and I'm like, "I literally just met him." But anyways, we got married on that show, and that was a whole thing because I wasn't immediately attracted to him and whatnot. And but then here we are 12 years later, and we have our daughter who is 8 and our son who is 5, and then a set of twins who are identical twins.
Yay, me too. Well, and I will say the one thing that I loved about the show and that we don't really see anymore is like that matchmaking component. So even though you just met for the
Yeah.
first time, like you guys were selected to be together based off of like
Yes.
preferences, personality type. And obviously it worked. You guys have been married for 12 years.
Yeah, and that's exactly you really are an OG because I feel like some people when they hear how we got married and stuff, they're like, "Oh my god, was he really a stranger? You really didn't know his name?" And I'm like, "It sounds fantastical because it kind of is, but like there's also this level of there was like a lot of science that went behind it, and I went to school to be a
Yes.
registered nurse." Always loved science. And so when they presented it to me, they were like, would you, right now, divorce in America is 50-50, like marriage is surviving. It's about 50-50. Would you be interested in having these experts kind of hold your hand and scientifically analyze you and a whole bunch of other singles in the tri-state area and find someone who's quote unquote perfect on paper and see if you could potentially like, if that could help change the statistic. Like if you were having an arranged marriage based on science, could that help? And I was like, what I'm doing clearly isn't working. And so I went for it. But like I said, also, I was like, I wasn't interested in kind of the drama of like The Bachelor and whatnot. Like, I really wanted something that was authentic. And so, um, fast forward to my wedding day, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, did they just bamboozle me? And I was like, someone that I didn't think that I should be with. But, anyways, here we are 12 years later, and it worked out.
Well, I totally get that. Even though you know what you were signing up for, it's still like the shock of like, I did just meet this person. I'm not ready to like kiss and cuddle and can we talk?
Yeah, for real.
Can
Yeah.
we talk
Yeah.
first?
It was Yeah, and actually, ironically, we did talk, so, like, we said, "I do," I was like I literally said it like that because I was like, "Holy moly, what am I doing?" And then we walked back down the aisle, and we, like, wait at, like, this like, literally, it was like a conference table outside of, like, where we had just gotten married because we got married at a hotel, and, so I'm imagine the conference table probably came from that room that we just got married in, and they just moved the conference tables out. Yeah, very, very posh. But, um they as we were waiting for all the guests to, like, come filtering out, my husband said to me, "Yeah, so, where do you live? Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I live here in Manhattan. I'm a nurse at Columbia Presbyterian." And he was like, "Yeah, I just got, my first job and that I'm excited to, like, retire from. I live with my parents." And I was like, what? And so no one really knows that part of the kind of like the panic attack that I had. But they just assumed I just wasn't attracted to him. And so I had this huge panic attack. And I'm like, no, it was actually, there was zero chemistry. And then he told me he lived at home with his parents and he just got like this job. And I'm like, that was like my deal breaker was someone I had 3 deal breakers, and the first was, that he couldn't that he couldn't be into drugs because that really destroyed my family. My mom struggles with that, and I just didn't want anything to do with drugs. He couldn't be in debt because I worked really hard to get to where I was at. I literally probably only had, $15,000, but, like, to me, that was a lot of money. Like, it still is a lot of money. I
Oh,
had
yeah.
$15,000 in Manhattan. My career, like, I was doing well for myself. Like, I was taking care of myself. Like, this guy couldn't have debt 'cause I didn't wanna go there. I worked so hard to stay out of debt myself. And then, what was it? He couldn't be in debt, he couldn't be a drug addict, and he had to have a really, like, big welcoming family. Like, those are the things that I really wanted because I so desperately wanted family. Like, I really didn't have family at all. Like, when I was, going like, when my mom was and, sometimes she still struggles with addiction, and so I feel like our family, they did not reach out to be like, "Oh, can we help you?" I think they
Mm.
assumed we might be on that path as well, and so they were never like, "Oh, can we help you?" At one point, I had all 3 of my younger siblings living with me, and not one person from my family was like, "Can I help?" And mind you, I was 19 at the time. Like,
I still
that's
can't believe
wild.
that.
Like, I look back now and I see little 19-year-olds and I'm like, "Dang, girl, like, you were so strong back then. Like, you better," like, sometimes I'm like, "You were stronger then than you are now," because I cry over silly things, and back then, I was just driven and made it happen. But anyways, needless to say, I had those 3 deal breakers, and he was living at home with his parents, and I just got it out. I'm like, "Do you have debt?" Like, I mean, this is not I was hoping for someone somewhat successful, and that's so judgy of me at right off the bat. That's so judgy, and I take full accountability for that, but it wasn't what I was anticipating, and so, yeah.
I don't think it's judgy, but it's like when you're gonna start a life with someone, those are really important questions that you
Oh,
typically would know ahead of time. So I don't think that's judgy at all.
yeah.
You're like processing all of this
Oh,
while you're being filmed.
oh, yeah. If we had met, I think, like, at a bar or something, and if he would've said, "Yeah, I'll take you home to my childhood bedroom," I would've been like, "Out," like, "I don't wanna meet your parents, on our first date and go back to your childhood bedroom. I'm 27, you're 32," like, or maybe he was 31 actually, because he's 4 years older than me. So yeah, but, that's to the credit of Married at First Sight, and the science behind it is we are 2 people who like, really needed each other.
Mm.
He's a loyal man who's incredibly patient and very non-judgmental, very, very kind, very even-keeled, and I'm very much, like, kinda quick to bounce out if, like, I feel like I'm gonna get hurt or, um, feel like I'm gonna be taken advantage of, and also, I'm able to save, and I'm able to create businesses, and I'm able to kind of execute things, whereas he's like, it'll happen if it'll happen," and I'm like, "No, we gotta make this happen." So we're very good for each other in that respect.
It sounds like a very Very good balance, absolutely. And I was gonna bring this up earlier. It kind of sounds like you were always just ready to be a mom or had that
Uh,
nurturing personality and trait about you. How do you think you were able to manage caring for your siblings so young?
well, I think that, to be very honest, I think that I didn't necessarily want to. So we were living in a trailer park and my mom was gone for weeks on end on drug binges. And at the time I didn't even realize they were drug binges. I just knew that we had no heat, we had no
My
electricity at one
gosh.
point. It was freezing and we had like a generator in our bathroom and my mom would try to you're not supposed to have generators in the house. It's very dangerous to
Oh,
have those
sure.
fumes. She left the window open in the bathroom and there was a hole in the floor. So she felt like that was filtering it enough in order for us to have like a generator to kind of have like some electricity on and whatnot. And we had a kerosene heater, like a space heater, and I mean, at least she had kind of a second backup plan, but it's like the middle of winter and we're freezing and there's no food and she's disappearing. And this is at the time I was, I believe, either 18 or 19. And I had graduated high school, and my younger siblings, who are 3 years younger than me, and then I have a set of fraternal twins. My brother and sister are
Oh,
5 years younger than
cool.
me, and the people assume because I have fraternal twins in my family that twins run in my family. But
Mm,
another fun fact is identical twins don't run in families. It's a
yeah.
fluke. And
Mhm.
so,
It's God.
if they were fraternal, we could probably say, "Oh, yeah, maybe that ran in my family." But my mom always told me, because I've always wanted twins, my mom always told me, "Oh, you're not gonna get it. It's gonna pass you and go to the next generation because that's just what happens in our family line with the fraternal twins." And so you can imagine my surprise when I literally prayed to God for twins, and I literally prayed the egg would split, and I got them. I did also ask if I got to be picky. I literally said it like that, like, "And God, if I get to be picky, I would love it to be girls." And there's a reason I have boys. I certain, but because, you
God
know,
gives you what you need.
that's exactly right. And so anyways, so when we were in that situation where like there's no food, there's no heat, there's no electricity, and the house is a pigsty. My mom's gone all the time. When she is home, she's locking herself in her bedroom, and we're like
Mm.
banging on her door, like, "Hello, mom! Like we're here. Like, do you care about us at all?" I feel like my biggest guilt that I have is that when I went through that, I left my siblings in that trailer while my mom was just always gone and to kind of fend for themselves so that I could go out. I wanted to be somebody and I kind of wanted to escape. And I wish desperately that I never did that because what happened between the time that my mom wrote the note for them to get off the bus at my house and then, I don't know, it's just that they should have never had to fend for themselves like that. But luckily, my mom was so late on rent as usual, but this time and they were threatening and threatening and threatening these eviction notices, but they can't really, lock you out because there's people in there. And so at one point, I guess we were all gone and they like locked us out.
Mm.
So my mom said, "There's no place for my siblings to go." And can she write a note for them to get off the bus at my house? And I was like, "Yes, of course." And and then she just didn't come back for a while. And that's when so it's not like I like planned for it and I wish that I could say that I had, but really it was just kind of thrown in my lap. And then when they were there, I was like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that know that they're loved and safe and taken care of. And we really had like a great little dynamic, but I was so young. And so then, my mom she would come and she would ask for money and I would like yell at her like she was my child. Like, "Excuse me, you're going to ask me for money when I'm taking care of your kids? Like, no, I'm not giving you any money." And so she took them away from me. And it's such a long story. And I did write a book. I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
I shared about this in my book, and kind of like how this went down. But in any case, it's not like, but I have always, wanted a child of my own and wanted to be a mom. I've always like really longed for that mother daughter relationship that I think so many people have. And when I see other people have it, I'm like, I do get envious of that. I'm like, wow, like that must be so nice. Like I couldn't even imagine what that's like. And in another sense, it also hurts my heart for my mom because I think my mom also has always longed for that and would long
Mm,
for that even now, but she doesn't know how to give that or even receive that really.
mm.
And because this is all a cycle and these are just cycles that happen in lifetimes. And so anyways, it's a sad topic when I see I mean, you see those reels when women are like, "What would I do postpartum?" Like what got
Mm.
me through postpartum, and it's like their mom is like kind of just like babying them and their baby, and I'm like, "Oh, that'd be so nice."
Well, the beautiful thing is that you get to do that for your daughter and your sons.
That 1000% it. So, I am still struggling to close like this chapter of my life of like creating our family. And it's 100% because I had spent Christmas alone crying on the floor, like pitiful. And I was like, I'm going to like, I just couldn't wait. I just so badly wanted to create my own family so that I know that I'll never have to spend another holiday alone crying on the floor because, I had no family to be with. Like, my siblings had went to my sister's, but I wasn't allowed there. It's a long story. I'm not even
Mm.
gonna get into it. But my older sister and I are very different, and she didn't like the way that I was doing something. And so she banned me from like her kids and from being with at her house altogether, but she invited our siblings to go have Christmas with her, and I would never say, "No, you cannot do that," and, she has our nieces and nephew, and so I was like, "Of course, go," but then I'm sitting home alone, pitifully crying,
Mm.
and I was like, I just so desperately wanted to have a family of my own where they would gravitate towards me and want to be with me, and that means everything to me, and so fast forward to, like, going on The Bachelor, I was like, "I don't even belong here. This guy's not gonna want anything to do with me." And then, I was also on Bachelor Pad, and I thought maybe, and then Married at First Sight. That's why I was so particular about those 3 deal breakers that I had because I really wanted family
Mhm.
that would gravitate towards me and want to be around me, that would accept me and love me. And then I also really wanted to create my own. And so that's why I think I've wanted so many kids because I'm like, you truly cannot count on anyone in the world. You just can't. But if you have your own kids, you're going to let them know they can count on you.
Mm.
And and I'm going to have that mother-daughter relationship with my daughter. Thank you God that I have a daughter, but also with my boys. I didn't know how great like a mother-son relationship could be until I had them. So, yes.
Boys are so sweet to their mama. Like, I love my relationship with my daughter. It's amazing, but I feel like the way that my boys, like, love on me, like hugs and kisses, is just, like, different from my daughter.
Oh, I 100% agree, like, it's just night and day because my daughter but we it's so interesting because there really is such a different dynamic, but they're both so special in their own ways.
So, a video that stuck out to me on your Instagram, like, speaking of mother-daughter relationships, is the sweetest video of you and your daughter, like, kind of throughout like, when she was little and showing you taking her to places in your career, like, in interviews and doing your podcast,
Oh, really?
and
Oh, yeah,
it's
I
so
forgot about that.
cute.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh
sweetest video.
oh, thank you. Yeah, it's kinda not a secret, I married a man who was a little bit I don't wanna say a man child because that's really, like, demeaning and degrading, but, like, I think we all marry men like, man child, right? He was like I think a lot of us do, like, it's just kinda how it goes, which is why I'm raising my boys. They're gonna know how to do laundry, they're gonna know how to, like, balance a checkbook, not that we even use checkbooks, but they're gonna know how to manage these things. But, he was just very much his parents supported him, like, endlessly with his he was in sports, and so they supported him like wholeheartedly in that aspect. And so that was like his whole trajectory was that he was going to be a professional baseball player because he was at a D1 school, he was being scouted, but then he got an injury and
Hmm.
that kind of shut everything off for him. And so I don't think that any parent is like they just there's the best parents to him in that sense. However, he really didn't learn how to take care of like the normal things in life because his mom is such a mama bear and just like kind of does it. At least that's what my understanding is. And so, anyways, I instantly feel like I have to defend my mother-in-law because I'm like, I don't think like I don't know. I instantly think of the mother. I'm like, no one wants to hear that about their child. So like, let me defend my mother-in-law. So what was the question again? Because now I completely forgot.
Yes. So, we were talking about that video of you and your
Oh
daughter,
yeah.
and then I think it
Okay.
sparked something about your husband.
Yes, yes. So what happened was, I ended up, I lost our first baby. I finally get my daughter, and it was, of course, everything to me. And I was still flying out to LA. I never had maternity leave ever. Like I've never taken every single baby I've ever had. It was on camera, and I was like shooting and working and whatnot. And that was a choice that I made. I honestly kind of, as a nurse, as a labor and delivery nurse, I really wanted the footage because I wanted to be able
Yeah.
to like relive that. And it all happened so fast. And I was like, what a blessing that I get to like film this and relive it. And I know some people are not into that, but for me, I was like, I am so thankful to have this. But needless to say, I had to I had to fly out to LA to shoot Married at First Sight Unfiltered. I think it was about 2 months after Henley was born,
Wow.
and exclusively breastfeeding. And we were simultaneously filming Jamie and Doug plus one. And I just knew that like my husband couldn't be left alone for the whole weekend while I was out shooting a show, uh, like with our daughter, our 2-month-old daughter. Like he didn't wake up with her at nights. He absolutely changed diapers. He would have done it if he had to, but I wouldn't do that to him or to her, you know? So I flew her out to LA and I just always did pretty much that whole first year because I was exclusively breastfeeding and I didn't trust my husband to like wake up with her and things like that. And so that's kind of how she always ended up out in LA with me when I was shooting those shows. And it's interesting now, like looking back, like again, I'm like, dang girl, like how did you do that? Like, you're shooting these shows. I'm simultaneously sharing my life, you know, on Instagram and with the world. And you just do it, right? Like us women, us moms, we just do it.
Think I mean, that was gonna be one of my next questions is like, how did you and how are you balancing being a mom of 4 and twins and, like, multiple businesses? Like, how what are you doing? What's your secret sauce?
Well, I don't feel like I'm doing well, to be very honest. I honestly feel like I could be doing far better than I am right now, but
That's probably every mom's inside voice. Everyone is saying that in their head.
yeah, honestly, if I could tell you, like, the one thing that helps me get out of bed, and honestly, I struggle sometimes, like, man, like, postpartum depression is so effing
Mm,
real, and I really had it so bad with Hendrix. I mean,
mm,
almost like postpartum psychosis with Hendrix, and I feel like I'm doing better with the twins, but they say that it's, like, comes back with a vengeance with, like, the next one, and I'm like, "It's not gonna happen. I have a great therapist. I'm on medicine. Like, I'm aware," whereas I think with Hendrix, I really kind of wasn't anticipating or aware of it happening, but man, it can be so hard. So I would say, like, realistically, for anyone listening who's, like, wanting to have a family or has a family and is, like, feeling like they're sinking, I would say therapy number 1, like,
mm,
without a doubt, with all my heart, absolutely find yourself a therapist, and if you talk to someone, you know, for the first time and you're feeling a little judged or, like, misunderstood, that's not your therapist, and that's
mm,
okay. Sometimes a couple therapists before we find the one who really listens, who really nurtures you, who really gives you, like, insight. Keep going because it hasn't I've had a therapist for a long time now, but, like, it took me a few therapists to find the right one. So, that's the first thing I would say is therapy, and the second thing is accept help. Like, and
mm,
I am awful at accepting help. I'm so awful at it. As a matter of fact, I have a nanny or a mommy's helper 3 days a week, and I purposely don't even want her to come more than that because I want to prove that I'm their mom and that I can do it and that they're with me, and, like, honestly, I wish I could go back to when I first, like, had those thoughts to be like, "Jamie, you're a working mom, and it's okay if you need a nanny 6 days a week because you have 0 family nearby who's helping, and you're the breadwinner for your family. You're gonna have to work, and you're also trying to breastfeed them, like, through mastitis, like, recurrent mastitis."
mm.
You
Ugh,
know, I don't know how, and it's probably why I'm a little, like, emotional now is I'm still trying to, like, catch up and, like, breathe again because as you know, it's, like, so hard during that whole first year, and they're a year and a half now, but it's still so hard, and I'm like, "When does it get a little easier?" But I think accepting help or alert like, if you can't afford having the help, like, we're gonna put them in daycare soon, and for a long time, I was like, "I don't wanna do that." Like, I had them because I wanna be with them. I had them because I wanna be a present mom. I purposely, and it's like, okay, sure, don't we all have our kids because of that? But like, but also can't, like, with them being home and me trying to work from home and I hear them cry, then I instantly go to them. And then when
mhm,
I'm with them, I should be working and I'm not even fully present with them. And then, you know, like, and it's just a cycle. And it's like, so I finally came to the conclusion that, especially now that they're older, I'm like, they need to socialize, they need to learn. And I absolutely love my mommy's helper. She's such a saint. She's so kind and so non-judgmental. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to keep her on in some way because I don't want to lose her. But I'm like, I'm kind of giving myself permission to let them go to daycare for 5 days a week, and you know, and work while they're at school and learning and whatnot, and be okay with the fact that I'm not a stay-at-home mom, and I so desperately have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and to be very present with them, but I'm not, and they're, you know, like, they have to be I think I'll be able to get more work done while they're away and are, you know, like, at school, and while my older 2 are simultaneously at school, and then be super present when they're home, and hopefully that will give more, like, undivided attention to them as well because they always say, like, if you're with them, but you're not with them, like you're on your phone or you're checking emails or like that's not quality time anyways.
Mm.
And so I feel like there's been a lot of that I catch myself and inevitably work will come second and my kids will come first. And so, for example, like I just launched this line, Hendralux. I still don't even have a website and it's fallen through the cracks. It's been many months at this point, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get this done. But inevitably, one of my kids will need something for school or one of the twins, and I'm like, that's the last thing to get taken care of. And so I don't feel like I'm succeeding right now. I'm definitely kind of sinking, but I think that we're figuring it out.
Well, I love that. I feel like accepting help is so key, and it takes people a while to get there. Like with my daughter, I feel like I was very similar. Like I had something to prove. Like people
Same.
would offer, and I was like, no, like almost offended. Like I'm going to do it
Yeah.
myself. And then I
Yeah.
had twins, and anyone who wants to help, I'll be like, sure, here's the baby. it
Yeah.
took,
Yeah.
but it took time for me to get there. And I love that how you were talking about being a working mom is so hard to balance everything. And I think it's like having help and having daycare, that's all such blessings, like you were saying. So that way, when your kids are at school, you can 100% focus on your
Yeah.
work because I totally feel you on the crying thing. Like, my husband will be working and hear the baby's crying and like zone out. And I'm like,
I don't know how he does it, right?
it's like I don't know, like a man thing. I cannot. I feel like crying or just like hearing your kids struggle in some way, or even honestly, sometimes if they're laughing, I'm like, well, what are they laughing about?
Yeah, 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 that too, and then you get kind of like FOMO or
Yes,
guilt that you're
FOMO.
not there.
Hmm.
Like, like you're like, "I wanna be that like, yeah, it's hard, and I don't
Hmm.
know if you have any friends who are stay-at-home moms, but I do, and I'm like, I kinda compare myself to them, and I'm like, "Oh, they're doing this, and their baby's always on them, and I wish my babies were always on me," and, like, they take their baby everywhere, and I'm like, I wish I did," and I start to wonder, like, do they think I'm a bad mom because I'm picking up my kids from the school bus, like, without my twins because I have, like, the nanny or whatever, and, like, it's like, oh golly, there's so many ways that we ourselves judge ourselves. I wish I knew, like, I wish there was, like, a magic pill to just have us all, like, be confident in who we are, because I'm also someone
Mm.
who really does believe in constructive criticism. I really believe in hearing what people are saying to you or about you. Like, is that true? Like, do you really do you need to change some behaviors because maybe that's accurate and that's valid? And so it's like I'm really big on none of us are perfect. Like, we really do need to analyze our own behavior and make sure that we're good for our kids and for our spouses and for ourselves and for our friends. And so I think it would be silly to just, sometimes like especially if you hear the same thing over and over again, like, is there truth in that?
Hmm.
So in any case, it, and also I think, postpartum hormones, and I don't care what anyone says. People are like, oh, you're not postpartum. I'm like, sorry, but 6 weeks postpartum is not the only postpartum period. And
For
every
sure.
minute you're breastfeeding, your hormones, you are postpartum. And even after you stop breastfeeding, then your hormones are still trying to refluctuate. You're postpartum. Like, you're postpartum for as long as after you've had a baby, if you ask me,
Oh,
because,
yeah.
it's so frustrating when people are like, you're not postpartum anymore. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I've had 4 kids, so I'm certain I'm postpartum still.
Absolutely. Well, and you are really in the thick of it with twins. Like, my husband and I joke that we do not remember the first year of having twins. It's just crazy.
Like, does it get better when they're almost 3? Because, like, I thought it would be better after 1, and I'm like, here we are a year and a half, and I'm like, it doesn't feel better yet.
I think it gets better and better. So our boys are sleeping through the night, and that took a while. And I think
Amazing.
that, right? Like, I think that once you have slept, you can just handle a lot more. Like, do they have tantrums and twin toddler tantrums together and feed off of each other? Like, yeah, that's hard. But when I've slept, I can handle it a little bit better. And
Oh,
I'm
100.
sure. Right, and, like, I'm sure you're starting to see this already now that they're a year and a half, but in 18 months, oh my gosh, it's just really cute, it's such a cute age. I know it's hard. It's of course, it's so
Yeah,
hard, but it's so sweet. But I feel like
it
their
is.
personalities and their interactions really start increasing. Like,
Mhm.
my
It's
boys
true.
are, like, always holding hands and getting toys for each other, and don't get me wrong, like, they fight too, but, like, their bond has just gotten stronger and stronger, and it is so cute to see. So I feel like
Yeah.
that, like, makes it easier, and then having a full night's rest makes it easier too.
You know what's so interesting is right now I'm on hormone replacement therapy, and one of the clinicians that I was talking to, she was like, essentially like, "I know that you wanna try this because I've really been wanting, like, anything to help me with this brain fog and, like, just like what I and also my periods were really wonky, and so I'm like,
Mm,
I'm certain menopause. I'm also turning 40, but she was like, "I know that you really wanna try this, and I'm going to let you try it because, your labs show that you could benefit from it. However, it could also just be the fact that you have twin babies and you're not sleeping, and you have the stress
mm,
of 4 kids and a husband and a working mom and twin babies, and you're not sleeping, and, like, the lack of sleep can do so and just stress can do so
mhm.
much to the body, and I'm like, you're right. Like, we all just want a magic pill, but really we just need our pillow and a bed and to just stay there for a little while and not and the thing is that it's like the interrupted sleep, like,
Yes.
it's not just my twins, it's my older 2. Like, last night, my daughter woke up and she had a really bad dream, and, like, we tend to co-sleep with them, mostly so I'm like, they don't have to, like, come in the middle of the night, but, my son came in running in, "Mommy, mommy," and when he did that, it, like, jarred me, and so my husband's snoring, my daughter's, like, sleeping next to me on like, we have a little cot for her, and then my son climbs in bed and he's, like, attacking me because he's just felt so unsafe, and I'm just laying there like, "Okay, try to go back to sleep, go back to sleep, go to bed." I'm like I tell him that he's safe and he's loved, he's safe and he's loved, and then he's, like, passed out again, and I'm just sitting there like, "Go back to sleep, go back to sleep, go back to sleep," like, trying so hard to go back to sleep, and it's like so it's not even just the twins, it's just a stage of life with 4 small kids and
Mhm.
waking up consistently, like, I don't think I've ever gotten only recently, like, at the summit that we were at, and then, I went to Mel Robbins, and so
Oh, yeah,
there,
cool.
7 hours uninterrupted sleep, and I still woke up so groggy because I think it's just, like, the lack of sleep in general, like, you're gonna need that a few more times before you stop waking up so groggy.
It took a long time for our boys to get there, longer than my daughter. So I am, like, sending you positive sleep vibes for everybody.
Oh, thank you. I could use it. And honestly, I am one that thinks that it only lasts so long. And, when I was a kid, now granted, like witnessed a lot of domestic violence. Like my mom was physically abused often, and I'd happen to
Mm,
witness it, and, like, the cops would come and all that, and so but the only way that I really felt safe was in bed next to my mom, and so
mm,
maybe it's a little bit of, like, childhood 'cause people will be like, "You gotta get those kids in their own bed, and you gotta make them stay there all night," and I'm like, "Well, I don't know, Sally, like, I think I'm okay with them feeling safe and comfortable in my bed, and I know that that disrupts my sleep and that then I'm like, it's like a cycle that goes on, but at least my kids feel loved and safe because that's the number one thing for me as a mom, and so if I'm a little groggy, I'll complain about it and I'll lose my thought mid-sentence every single day, but at least I know my kids feel loved and safe all night long, so I'm gonna
mhm.
be okay with it for now, and I know that and like they say, like, it doesn't I can't imagine at 16 years old, and if they do, come on in my bed, I'm okay with it.
I know, it's sweet. And you have to do what's best for your family, and if co-sleeping is what's best, then that's what you should do. On a side note, have you heard of nurturing twins? She, like, talks about co-sleeping with twins.
Oh, interesting. Because
Mhm.
I literally was just saying to Doug, I think a, I wanna get a king size bed and have him build, like, a crib around it so I can just crawl in there with them and let them. Because 'cause I'm not even kidding you. The other day, I just crawled into Hawkins' bed, and then, of course, Huxley wanted to be in, and so I pulled him in, and then my daughter or my son came in. He's always wanting to know where I am, my older son, and so he came in and climbed in, and then my daughter came in and climbed in, and I was like, "Good God, we need a bigger bed because, this just doesn't we just don't all fit." But, interesting. So what did she say about it?
Well, it's called the Nurturing Twins Village. She has, like, an Instagram and stuff, and she has, like, a whole course on, like, co-sleeping with twins and what that can look like. I'm not sure if she also talks about with, like, a family, but I'm sure she has great tips. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's one of the moms from Big Little Feelings, but they got this, like, ginormous bed. I'll have to, like, send you the post.
Yeah, if you find that post, let me know because 'cause I've been trying to find one where they actually like, where it's already made, but I haven't
Mhm.
been able to find one. I did see one from one of my fellow Married at First Sight moms. I saw she posted it, so I reached out to the brand and I was like, "Oh my gosh." And it wasn't it's like a playmat though, it's not an actual bed, and so I said,
Oh.
"Oh, could this be used as a bed?" And she was like, "No, this can't be used as a bed because it's, X, Y, and Z, Y." And I'm like, "Dang it." Like, I'm like, I would really love probably like a king size mattress because my husband doesn't want the twins in our bed. He doesn't want that to become like the norm, which I totally understand because our older 2 are in our bed. But I also believe in my whole like, with my whole heart that if my babies, like, are crying and crying and crying and need me and they're teething and they could be in pain or maybe they're just having night terrors, I'm not just gonna put them back in their bed and, like, let
Mhm.
them cry it out. Cannot do that. I will not do that. And I
Mhm.
know that so, like, a lot of times people are like, like the pediatrician at the 18-month checkup, she's like, "Oh, are they sleeping through the night?" And I'm like, "No, but I'll be honest, it's definitely my fault. I could probably force them to try to sleep through the night, but I'm like, they could be teething and they could be in pain. They could be having night
Mhm.
terrors, and they can't communicate that with me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead if they really need their mom." And she actually didn't give me a hard time about it. She was okay
Oh,
with it.
that's good.
'Cause everyone's like, "Oh, they need their sleep." I'm like, "No kidding, they need their sleep." But I'll tell you what, my boys are so stubborn, they will cry for so long, like, and I'll go in and I'll try to love on them and then let them go back to bed, but it'll be like an hour, and I'm like and I'll go in increments trying to love on them, and at that point, I'm like, "Don't we all just like I mean, we sleep with our husbands, like, we don't sleep without our husbands, like, we all co-sleep, like, let's all just like, can we make this a little bit more normal?" Because it seems
For
kinda normal to
sure.
me.
Well, and you have to do what's right for your family. It was so cute. So my twins share a room. And one night my daughter was like, "Can I sleep in bed with you?" And I was like, "Oh, are you scared or what's going on?" And she was like, "Well, everyone has like a teammate except me." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh my gosh, like, yeah, because me and my husband and then the boys."
yeah.
And then she was like, "I'm alone." It was so sad.
Yeah, that is, like, so insightful for a six-year-old, I feel like.
Yes. I'm like, "You can hop in anytime, girl."
Yeah, so
So
sweet.
that's very sweet. Well, I would love to hear more about Hendralux, your beauty brand. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so for me, it started because I was honestly just trying to find a way to feel good about myself, but I don't have time like I used to. Like if you go back and watch Married at First Sight, I always had my hair done and like I just always had my makeup and all the things. But I also spent an hour in the bathroom to do that. And I just loved it. And it was so much fun. But now fast forward and I have all these kids and I'm like, I just need a quick, simple routine. Like I'm so overwhelmed that I even think. I mean, I don't even have time to shower really, let alone do my hair and my makeup. And so I was for a long time. I just didn't do anything, and I just showed up like how I was, and it was what it was. Take me or leave me, kind of thing. But I wanted to feel good about myself, and I wanted to, and I just kind of lost that feeling. And so I've been trying to like work on that. And I would like look on like for like makeup routines or makeup tips or whatever and like these people have like so many products and so many gadgets to apply these products and I'm like that is so overwhelming that I just like swipe out and I feel defeated and I'm like never mind I'll just try again tomorrow and then I try again tomorrow and it's like every makeup person or like even like influencer like even just like moms like you see their counters and it's like they have so many products and I'm like
Mm,
I do not want all that is just overwhelming and even if you go to makeup websites, it's like so many different options to choose from. And it's just like decision fatigue immediately. So then I just
mm,
panic and I started thinking, like, there's got to be another mom out there like me who wants to feel good, wants to feel put together, wants cleaner ingredients, without having to like, have to double check everything but doesn't like want, 20 of these. I mean, they just want something fast, simple, and easy. And
yeah.
I was like, I think I just crazily, the thought wouldn't leave me and I wanted it for myself more than anything. And so I went out and created Hendralux and it's very simple makeup that's very fast. It's dual focused. So, like the lip also goes on the cheek. The bronzer contouring also can be used for your eye. Yeah, and like the mascara is I just love it. It's my all-time favorite. It comes off nice and easily, like it goes on nice and easy, but it also don't you don't have to tug at your eyes to remove it.
Mm,
And it's just very simple. I have like a lip plump that I just love a good plump lip. And so I put that on and it has vitamin E in it. It's nourishing. And those are the four products, and there are no more. And I'm not going there are going to be more options and varieties like with maybe when I get my crap together. But as of right now, those are the four products that I use every single day that I'm literally wearing now. And it's literally took me 2 minutes because I don't have more than 2 minutes, and but I always say it takes, like, give yourself 5 minutes to apply it, but truly it takes me 2 minutes. I literally just go, like, just pop it on, and then I feel a little more put together throughout the day, and yeah, so that's where Hendralux kinda came from, and the name Hendralux is all 5 of my babies, including my angel baby,
Hmm.
their name
Aw.
kind of all mixed together, and I really love it, and I really so far, I've gotten I mean, it's really in the grassroots startup stage, like, I don't have investors or, like, I didn't partner with some big company or anything, I'm literally just doing it myself,
Oh,
for
wow.
myself and for other moms, and so, yeah, like, everything comes back to me, and so inevitably like, like, yesterday, I should have been working on the website. You know where I was? I was at the school volunteering, like, having lunch with my older 2, and then I got volunteer at my son's kindergarten class, and so, should I have been working on the website? Absolutely, but am I okay that I didn't? Part of me is like, "Yes," and the other part of me is like, "Girl, you gotta get this thing up," like, because 'cause it's been so long, but I'm like, "You know what? There's time for that," and my son's gonna be graduating kindergarten, and I'm like, "I'm just not gonna miss a moment," like, I just can't. So, also, I was at Mel Robbins last weekend, so I'm like, I have to be there, like, I cannot miss like, I just feel like, when you take a little time for yourself, then you feel like inevitably that takes time away from your kids, and so it's just consistently trying to find that balance. But anyway, so that's Hendralux, that's where it came from, and I'm really hoping that it helps women who feel a little overwhelmed and just, but wanna feel good. Just give them a sense of like, "Okay, I can do this because it doesn't take long, it's just 5 minutes, it's easy," and then when they go to the site, they're not having decision fatigue over, like, all the different options because there really aren't that many options, and they can just feel good about it, and yeah.
I love that. I have had the exact same situation where I've gone into Sephora or I've, like, gone onto a website and been like, and I just leave because I am so overwhelmed. Like, I'm a simple girly. Like, give me some bronzer and a little bit of blush and some mascara, and I'm, like, happy, and I do like to do that because I feel put together. So I
Yeah,
love that, 1, you guys have multi-use products that, like, "Oh, you can use this as, like, lips and eyeshadow and"
yeah.
like, it's multi-use and that it's quick.
Yeah, it's honestly so fast. I use my fingers to apply it because I do think that when you are on the go, I mean, I always have a baby wipe, so I literally always just apply it with my fingers and then just wipe my hands off with the baby wipe, but maybe not everyone has that or maybe not everyone wants to use that, so I should probably offer a brush, so they can use it, but for me personally, like, this is really so grassroots and exactly what I use, what I need, what I like, and I feel like it's very I don't know, so far it has been so like, the people who have bought it, I just am so thankful because it's really helping them feel better, and that is
Hmm,
oh, truly, like, in life, like, what are we doing if we're not genuinely helping someone else in some way, shape, or form? At least that's how I feel, and, like, it just you don't have a sense of purpose if you're not helping someone, and so it
hmm.
feels so good when I get the review. They love it and that it's fast and easy and they feel more put I'm like, "Oh my god, that makes me so happy because same girl, like, I need it too." So, yeah.
I love that, and I love that the name is, like, all of your babies. I love
Yeah.
meaningful things like that, so I love that yeah, that you took the time and had the intention with the name for your family.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's very sweet.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like, who would have thought that it's Jonathan, Henley, Hendricks, Hawkins, and Huxley could turn into Hendralux. Doesn't Hendralux sound like an actual beauty brand in my opinion?
Oh, yeah, it's a cool name.
And it literally came from their name, so yeah.
It's really cool. I love it. So I know the website is being worked on. So
Yes.
can people go to your Instagram link and buy like your Instagram bio and buy it that way?
I mean, I should really do a far better job at promoting myself and this brand, but, I don't even think they can get it that way, which
Okay. Well,
is
you have an Instagram for it. Like,
yes, I do have an Instagram for it, and I have, like, an email sign. It's honestly anybody who's part of it right now, I call them the founding members because there's not even a website, so all the ladies who have ordered, which there have been, hundreds and hundreds, and I feel so blessed for that because 'cause they're literally just trusting me, truly. I mean, like, there's not a website, they don't see a ton of reviews. I just started, like, sharing some reviews on Instagram, but they're just trusting me that and I'm like, "Wow, that is such an honor, and I do not take
hmm,
it lightly, and I will give you absolute best customer service that I possibly can," and yeah, and I'm going to always forever keep them in this category of founding member because there's
cool.
something special when someone, like, trusts you and believes in you and even wants to support you that much that there's not even a website. Like it's just wild. And I'm so grateful to have these girls in my squad. And so anyways, yeah, so the site is hendraluxbeauty.com and it eventually is going to be up. So but otherwise until then you could go to Hendralux Beauty on Instagram or just Jamie
Perfect.
and Otis, which is mine. And I honestly don't share it too much there because I've seen other influencers who kind of create a brand and then that's all they talk about. And it's like, for me, I really wanted to generate this community and like nurture this community where it's really like momhood and womanhood. And I don't want to lose that because by
Mm.
talking so much about this brand that I created, like I know it's not for everyone, but for the busy moms who want a simple, fast, easy routine, it is for you. And I hope that you find me and I want to find you. But if that's not you, I would love to still connect, via just like my regular platform and become girlfriends that way.
Aw, I love that. Well, and I have to say, my daughter is also graduating from kindergarten.
Oh my gosh, we really same timelines. Uh it's so
Mhm.
hard, right? Like it's but for
So
me,
weird.
it's so weird because there are babies, but for me, it like reminds like it just like I'm like, "Okay, I have 2 more." And, like, I don't are you like that too? I'm like, "Oh, it's not the last though, so it's okay." But I think I will be in a puddle when it's the twins because it's like it's hard, like, when you spend your whole life wanting, your babies and then they start to grow up and you're like you have to kind of, like, mourn that like, I don't know
Yes.
if that happens to you, like, I feel like I'm gonna cry even talking about it because even for my daughters, like, I look back at pictures of her as a baby, and it's so long ago, and I have to just mourn, kind of like it sounds so bizarre, and I know I might sound crazy, but it's, like, kind of like the loss of, like, that of, like, breastfeeding and co-sleeping all night and snuggling and, like, and, like, you're never gonna get that again with this child, but you have to also then be excited for the years to come, like, now, I mean, we get to go shopping together, and she gets to tell me, like, about, you know, girlfriend problems, but also, like, just all sorts of different things, like girl life, and for our son or, like, your daughter, but our like, for them as well, and it's like, wow, I feel like life is just constantly a roller coaster, isn't it? It's just full of ebbs
Mhm.
and flows, and really, we just have to stay in the now and in the moment because it goes by so fast.
It's so true, though. My mother-in-law always says, like of course, she's like, "I never want another baby." Like, my sons are adult men. But
Yeah,
what I would give to just have 1 hour to hold my babies again.
I know.
I'm like, "Oh, that's the sweetest thing." And
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I feel like, of course, I'm emotional about my daughter graduating kinder and all these things, but when it's my boys, my last babies, I'm gonna be like a blubbering wreck. I
yeah,
just because then you're never gonna do that again.
'cause that
Like,
chapter
that
yeah,
chapter's
that
over.
your life is
Mhm,
over, and, like, I know that you struggled with fertility as well, and so, like, it's like you've wanted it for so long, and now it's just over? Like,
mhm.
I fought for this so hard for so many years, and now it's just over? Like, I'm never gonna be pregnant again, I'm never gonna have a baby again, I'm never gonna breastfeed again, like, I don't know, like, it does something to my insides that it does hurt, but I also think about how stretched thin I am with each of my
Mm,
children now, and I'm like, I think it would be doing every child a disservice if I had one more because I'm so stretched thin as it is, and including the child that would be that would come, like, I just feel like I would be even more stretched thin. And actually, when we were at that summit, I talked to a mom who had 6 kids, and I was like, "Oh, wow, like, what do you think of that? Because I'm, like, struggling closing this chapter, and I have 4 right now, but I feel so stretched thin." And she was like, "Don't have more. Don't do it." And she was a mom of 6, and she
mm,
was, like, really serious, and she was like, "Don't do it." And I'm like, "How can you say that when you have 2 more?" Like, does
mhm.
that but she was just saying, that how hard it is, and it's true. I mean, I think unless you have family that really wants to be active and, like, be there or can tons of money and you can afford this help and not have the mom guilt. Because, like, let's be honest, even if you have all the money and you have all the help, well, there's mom guilt. But anyways, yeah. So, I feel you, girl.
I think that's like such a mom thing. So we are done having children. I scheduled my husband's vasectomy when I was pregnant with the boys.
Oh, wow, I'm sure you did 'cause yeah.
I was so uncomfortable. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
we could have a whole nother podcast episode. Like I didn't
About
even get a chance to ask you about like the twin delivery and
oh, yeah.
um so we'll have to do like a follow-up or something. But I knew that I couldn't do it again. I knew that like 3 was a great number,
Yeah.
and I cried so much when because he didn't actually get the vasectomy when I was pregnant. He got it, when a few weeks postpartum. And I
Okay.
was just a mess. I was a
Yeah.
mess. And he was like, "Are you second guessing? Like, do you wanna have more kids?" I'm like, "No, I don't wanna have more kids. I'm just mourning that I'm
Yeah.
never gonna be pregnant again."
I thought is
And yeah.
yeah, and I feel like that isn't talked about either, and people are like
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
instantly, oh god, like, that is just not talked about enough, and 'cause I almost feel crazy admitting it out loud because, like, no one else admits this out loud that, like or maybe they don't go through it and I am a little crazy, I don't know, but, like, it's like, I feel like that's just not talked about enough, like, just mourning that loss of, like, it almost feels like our whole reason for existing, which is not our whole reason for existing. We exist for far more than just, having babies. However, it I don't know, it does. Like, that has been my joy in life is to able to get pregnant and to feel them move and then to give birth and then to hold your brand new baby and then smell them. They smell so good. It's like I'm never gonna have that again. Like, and now I can see why
Mhm.
grandparents are like on their kids, like, give me a grandbaby, which is not fair, but I'm like, it's like maybe you get a glimpse of that again from your baby, and
Yes.
I could see how like why they're so interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanna be respectful of your time. So, normally, in the beginning of my podcast, we just got, like, into the meat so quick. I
Yeah.
didn't ask if you got to fill your cup today. I normally ask all my guests that. So,
Oh, well,
do
honestly,
you did you or are you going to today?
I have to say, I think this whole podcast has just been a way for me to fill my cup. Thank you for listening to me
Mm.
rant on about all the things because I didn't realize that maybe I needed to. And so thank you. This has been a little me time with my cup of tea and yeah, just chatting about all things life. So thank you.
Well, of course, and I mentioned this earlier, but I just wanna say again, like, I hope that you know that sharing your story, like the good and the bad and your hardships, it really is making a difference in people's lives.
Thank you for that because I feel like I really needed to hear that.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy twin mom life to listen along. I hope this podcast shed some light on a topic that's been on your heart and gave you more confidence as a twin mama. If you know a twin mom, please send this her way. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Check out the show notes to be connected with today's guest and get discount codes for brands I love. See you next Thursday. Until then, you are made for this.